What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Mouthful. I'm Jen. You can follow me on all platforms, Twitter and IG. Twitter's Jennifer LaShawn. Twitter is Jen LaShawn. Again, don't forget to get your alcohol, all your alcohol, your vodka, tequila, wine, all of that at a taste of the culture. We have a 25% discount with the code Mouthful. Just glad to be back. So excited, y'all. We got 2 new announcements. We got some folks doing some stuff on Mouthful, y'all. So let's just pop up with the new announcement. What we got going? Oh, what is it giving?
Yes. It's giving.
What is it giving?
I feel like I look somebody daddy.
Somebody look at that.
It was time, y'all. It was time for
You
me to cut my hair.
Fine.
And
You look good, friend.
Say that again. Thank y'all.
You look so fine to me.
But I love it though. I feel real aerodynamic.
Do that. Can you do that again? Do that one more time. Oh.
I'm not gonna do this with y'all.
You feeling free?
All right.
I am.
Cool. So again, I said we have 2 new announcements, and I think that somebody else has an announcement as well. I mean, should we go ahead and get that popping?
Y'all ready?
I'm ready.
Yes.
I'm a bald head scallywag too. Y'all know we're expanding here at Mouthful, so we have another about 4 more months. Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Congratulations.
Mouthful, baby.
Mouthful, baby.
Yes.
So definitely, well, Jesus is always first, but tacos and naps are definitely how I'm feeling right now. Tacos and naps. Yeah. So Mouthful, baby, coming soon. Blessings. Thank you to the Mouthful family for the support and just steadily checking on us. We appreciate it.
Happy for you, girl.
So happy for you.
Thank you.
Well, listen, because we just making big announcements and doing big things, let's keep it right on moving to small business segment that we have Savage Girl Prayer, Jakaya and Raven joining us today.
Hey,
y'all. Jakaya. Oh. Thank y'all so much for joining us.
Hey y'all.
Thanks for being here.
Of course. So
hold on, before we get started,
it.
How do y'all get y'all hair like that? Y'all look like 2 Bopsy twins with that cute hair like that. For the life of me, when I was natural, I could not. I didn't know. I just didn't know what I was doing.
She did my hair actually.
Oh, okay.
Her hair was too thin. It didn't do that. Your hair was too thin. So getting right into it, thank y'all again for joining us. So Raven, Jakaya, just tell us a little bit about Savage Girl Prayer and what inspired you guys to get started. Which one? It's Raven. I'll ask Raven.
I'm looking at her like, okay, get it, Judge. Well, Savage Girl Prayer is it's really a lifestyle of just lit Christian women. We just want to be able to show other women that you can have fun, you can enjoy your youth, and still love God and still put him first. You don't have to be, I know a lot of people have the image of, Christian women as the women with the big hats, with the long skirts at church, but we want to let you know, no, you can look good, your body can be snatched, and you can still love God. So we wanted to, use our platform to be able to show other women, how to get in your word, how to put God first and still, have a lot of fun as well.
Our space is mainly created to, as a non-judgmental space for women to come together and just be themselves and just grow together in their walk with Christ as well.
Good. So tell me a little bit about the conversation, obviously, that you and Raven had that kind of made you say, let's start this channel. Let's do this Savage Girl Prayer Journal that you can buy right now. So how did that come about?
It was created in pure brokenness. We were all going through something at the time, and we just came together and we prayed for each other. We prayed together, and it was only 3 of us. And Raven had the idea and said, hey, let's create an Instagram. Let's invite other girls in on Zoom so that we can pray together as well. And we was up every Monday morning at 6 a.m. And we were just finding more ways to
commitment.
Yes,
like rolling
over in the bed, praying, eyes closed, like it was
sleep, everything.
And then so it became to how can we get more girls to come, how, and then we went to praying on live, and then we just wanted to create a journal for us to be able to have everything in one book. You can plan out your week. You got scriptures. You can put your prayer requests. You can journal, like just something that you can take on the go for busy young women who just need a book for everything, literally, for your whole life.
That's me.
That's dope. And where can they buy the journal?
You can visit us www.savagegrowprayer.com, or you can go on our Instagram at Savage Girl Prayer. It's in our link tree, the link on Instagram, also on Facebook as well. And then we're also on YouTube as well. So Savage Girl Prayer, you can go over there, follow us. You're not doing anything else. Get some God in your life. Just go ahead. So we're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and then SavageGirlPrayer.com as well to get the journal.
Awesome. And one last question that I want to ask you guys, and I want to ask both of you this, for the girl that may be struggling with something right now that is watching this, what would you say to that girl as far as, like you said, you don't have to visualize or picture a Christian looking a certain way, and they're kind of skeptical about kind of transitioning, giving their life to Christ. What would you say to that girl?
I would definitely say that when God, when Jesus, walked the earth, he did not go to the princess of Egypt or the queen of Egypt. He went amongst the people who, really the hood, okay, the streets. He went to, us, our people. So just think of it like that. Like, you don't have to be perfect, when you're going to God. Your humbleness and your uniqueness that you are in, and your brokenness is very unique. So I think that that's what God is attracted to and what he pulls from in us. And I think that I would say that you're in the perfect place to accept God. And so use your space at this moment to get closer to God. So don't let that, deter you. I think that something that me and Jakaya show a lot is Jakaya wasn't, from the church, and then I was. So our page gives you, two versions, two lifestyles. So it can show you that you don't have to know every scripture in the Bible to love God. That's not the criteria. The criteria is brokenness. The criteria is, pain. All of that's okay, as well. So that's what I would tell her. Sis, come on, do it. It's okay. We're not trying to, force you into anything. Just come over and just watch, no pressure.
Right. And and I was going to say, I don't know if you can answer that at all. But I just want to say that I love the fact that you guys are doing this, because it shows a different side of Christianity and spirituality, because a lot of people, like I said, picture one thing and it's not that. And for you guys to be so young, trying to reach out to young women in that way is an amazing, beautiful thing. I'm so proud of y'all. I love y'all.
I had a question for them. I was going to say, a lot of times when we're walking with Christ and we're bringing others over, the enemy will always try to deter us. So were there any challenges that you faced when you were getting your business up?
Plenty of challenges. We had a segment where we wanted to bring other women on our page and allow for them to be a part of what we were doing. And it was times when the lineup would be so amazing, but somehow the women weren't able to make it on, or the other businesses weren't able to contribute, and it would throw off everything that we had in store, which was amazing. And it would make us feel like all of our hard work was going to waste. And it was just like, well, why are we doing this? Maybe we should change what we're doing. But Raven just kept us focused and said, like, just keep pushing, just keep trying, and eventually everything will fall into place.
And do not let Jakaya just tell you Raven nothing. We both were like, I think that, I'm really thankful to have not only a partner in business, but like a friend, like a real friend that you can be in business with that will hold you accountable, tell you the ugly things about yourself that you don't want to hear. Right. And really, I think that was the most challenging thing for me for any of businesses that I have, went into. I didn't never have a person who was going to really hold me accountable. So having Jakaya, honestly, being that person who's like, okay, Raven, we got to put this out on tomorrow. What are you doing? Just having that person there to do that. So I just want to say I'm very grateful to Jakaya. So don't let her get on here and play you all. Like, just no, it's all Jakaya too.
Awesome. All right, I have a question too, y'all. Okay, so for the older generation who may or may not, mostly may have a issue with how you guys worship your Jesus, or like, what do you say to them? Have you had any people like from your mom's age or your grandmother's age have an issue with how you serve your God?
I would say, I don't know, Jakaya. I mean, I would say yes. You always have those people who are just like, it's unacceptable, that's too tight, where did God say that at? Your song's supposed to sound like this. You always have those type of people, and it's just like, my relationship with Jesus is my relationship with Jesus, right. And it's going to be different for everyone. What you are, I know that someone told me before, your circumstances with God and my circumstances with God are two different things. You might have an issue where, you smoke crack. I don't know what your issue may be. I don't know. And my issue may be, I love men. I don't know what my issue may be, but whatever your issue is with God, that's your issue, and it's your relationship. So I just think that the important part is that you're building and you see your growth with God. No one else can tell you your growth, because no one can tell you where you came from, where you're going. So I think when I get that type of feedback, I'll be like, yes, ma'am, I understand. Thank you. And that's really all that
and keep it moving.
Generation want to hear,
Keep it moving. You better than me. I'll be like, Bertha, get out of my face.
Come on, Bertha.
We create a page filled with transparency. So it shows people that we're not perfect. We're not going to ever be perfect. And we're here struggling just like everybody else. And I think sometimes people seeing that, it shows them that, wow, grandma was a little wrong. Grandma didn't know what she was talking about. Right. But yeah.
And I think a lot of people, especially, they do. And then especially, they fail to realize that they had a past. Like, yes, they were not always living the life that they are currently living. So they're trying to force people to live and be where they are now in their relationship, as opposed to letting them know, like, hey, my relationship had to start somewhere in order for me to continue to build and grow, to be better and to have a better walk in Christ. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a contradiction because of the fact that they want you to be where they are now. Well, baby, you're 96 years old. I can't be.
And the fact that you're leading others to Christ is just beautiful, in a sense. Right. It's something that's just so simplistic that we take, maybe for granted, like, oh, I got to write this down. I have an appointment like this. And now you're gauging both of those, that while you're writing down that brunch date or, the dentist appointment you have, you're also catching that scripture real quick. So I mean, whatever works for the now in this generation to lead them, that's what you want, So
right.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Des needs it.
I actually bought one. I actually bought one at our last event with our pop-up shop. I can be a savage girl too. It's okay. But thank y'all again for joining. Like I said, what y'all doing is a beautiful thing. So we can go right into this topic. Y'all are gonna stick around with us and give y'all opinion and input on this topic as well. And the topic for today is going to be respecting boundaries. Ooh. And I kind of thought of this topic because, I feel like a lot of people have gone through a lot over the past year. And a lot of people have struggled with many different things in their life, especially with the pandemic. A lot of people lost their lives for many reasons. And I feel like me as a giver, I'm naturally a giver. And anytime somebody asks me to do something, I'm there. And so for that reason, I'm the go-to person for a lot of people. And so, and I'm also an empath. So, at the end of the day, I'm exhausted because I don't think people realize how much that really drains you to really absorb all of those emotions that you get throughout the day. And then I also work in customer service. So I try to brush the work part off of it because I'm not really attached to these people that I talk to all day. But some of those stories really do affect me. Like people call and say that, I'm trying to get to, my son or my daughter because something just happened. The flights are sold out or the flights are $1,000. And I'm just like, well, girl, I can't do anything. And I feel really bad, but I just know I can't do anything. And I'm able to really detach from that. But when I get friends and family that are calling me constantly like, hey, this is what I'm dealing with, and they just dump, I feel like, and it's on me to place that boundary of, people need to be at a point in their life where they can ask, like, hey, I'm about to put a lot on you. Like, are you mentally and emotionally, are you mentally, emotionally able to receive everything that I'm about to dump on you? And I feel like that's really my responsibility to set that boundary because I haven't, because I'm not really a person that says no a lot. Despite popular belief, a lot of people think I'm mean, but I'm really like the nicest,
mean
loving.
As hell.
I am not mean as hell. I just talk a lot of bull crap.
A lot.
But that's how I show.
So this is the thing, with you being an empath, you doing all of this. How are you going to separate the two? How are you going to say, hey, not right now? Like, and not in a mean way, just, hey, like, just what are the steps you're going to take to be able to set that boundary? Because that's a lot.
Well, for me, and honestly, this clicked for me in maybe the past couple of months or so, that I am going to, first of all, a lot of people, I went through my phone and I deleted a lot of numbers. Just people that I felt like were not even important in my life that would call me when they needed something. But over the past few months, like my family and I feel like we're going through a lot, and even prior to then, you know what I mean? And like not one person called my phone or text my phone or DM me like, hey, are you okay? Do you need anything? But I'm always that person. So anytime I went through my phone, I deleted a lot of people that I felt like were not important. I do have some friends that I've known since like high school and, middle school and stuff like that I'm really close to. And that we have an understanding. I don't have to talk to you. I don't have to reach out to you all the time to know that you're good. But, those friends, they're still there. But a lot of everybody else, I just cut them off. They're not important to me. And that was the first step. And then now the ones that I'm still associating with, I have to place that boundary and kind of let them know like, hey, I deal with a lot too. And, explain to them that I'm really an empath. So when y'all call me with y'all stuff, it becomes my stuff at the end of the day. And so it's a lot on me, so they have an understanding of placing that boundary so they can respect it. They can't respect it if I don't place the boundary.
I have a question because I kind of see it two ways. Like, I know that we are all adults. We all have things going on in our lives. And you do have those friends who you're always there for, and they should check on you. But sometimes I feel like if we're going through a lot, we should consider our friends as well and say, hey, I really don't appreciate that you haven't checked up on me, but I would really like to talk about what I'm going through. And I feel like it could be two ways. Like, we can be open with our friends when we need to talk, and they've unloaded a lot on us, and vice versa. What do you think?
But for me, when I go to people, I let them know like, hey, I'll text them before I even call. I'll be like, I need to vent. And they'll either say, give me a minute, I'm gonna call you in a minute, or whatever the case may be, or you can call me now. I let them know beforehand, like, I need to vent.
That's important too. Like that's very important to let them know up front. Hey, because you have the choice to just you have the choice to say I can't do it right now, or yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and sometimes they will, and it doesn't bother me at all. I just hold it in until I get to a point I can vent it. Oh, I'm gonna take somebody else, be like, I need the vent. Somebody gonna answer. I'm gonna get it out one way or the other.
You do bring up a good point, because I think with the pandemic, that brought a lot of need for people to vent and talk to one another. And did y'all see those quotes or memes that was like, this is when you can tell who's real for you if they checking up on you.
Yeah.
The other ones were like, we all going through something. Like, it doesn't, proclaim our friendship. But it's true. It was like this force, like, yes, we are all going through something. That does not mean that I do not care about your circumstance if I don't happen to call you on that Tuesday or Wednesday. But at the same time, it is about that friendship and finding that balance. Like you said, hey, I felt alone. I felt like you were my girl and you didn't even, check on me. But I want to know, is this a good space that we can now, talk and let you know how I was feeling? So that's really important. What's a friendship if you can't be real?
Right.
I think I think that friends also need to know and understand that it's okay for your friends to tell you no for no reason. Also, like sometimes you don't about it. Like it's okay to say no, and it's okay to not always be available to your friends when they try to come to you. Just on the other side, on the other end of things, because sometimes people will, like I said, suck the life out of you, and sometimes you need to just be like, no, not today.
They'll call you and be like, they'll be like, you busy? I'm laying in the bed right now, but that does not mean I'm free to listen to the problem.
Right.
Like, I'll call you later, girl.
And I'm dealing with the balance because, like Bez, I'm an empath and I'm a highly sensitive person, HSP. So and I'm a Pisces. So I take all of that in with the sensitivity. But then I almost feel offended. Yep. I feel like you trying to be like but I almost would feel offended if somebody didn't come to me with their issues. Like, damn, did you not entrust me? Was I not good enough? Do I not give good advice? Because I always feel that I've been blessed to be looked at as that person that could give good advice, or somebody could just, sound off to, so whatnot. But it is definitely a balancing act. Just double backing on what Des said, being in customer service, you're going to know people's stuff that has nothing to do with you, but they're going to want to tell you that. And then being in the education field, my students are coming to me with some heavy, heavy stuff. And it's just like, on top of your work with your friendship and family, and then it's a lot. It's a lot you have to take in. So that no word does not mean negative all the time.
Let me ask y'all something. Do y'all have random people that like will DM you or whatever and say, hey, I really didn't know who to talk to, but I just felt like I could talk to you? That happens to me a lot. And it's like, the thing is, I don't mind. I don't mind because, again, I done set my boundaries. So when I do feel like it, yeah, cool. But like when random people, hey man, I got
that's not weird.
Y'all know my
weird.
Y'all know my kids.
I definitely don't get that.
Really?
I've never gotten in my life. And I guess that's where I mean, because I'll be like, what?
But the thing is, it's because it's always like through social media, and it's like, I guess because of the way I portray myself on there, like they really feel comfortable, because on my social media, I'm crazy. I'm gonna make you laugh. I'm not that person who's always like into stuff. I'm just on there for kicks and giggles. And but when it's time to be real, I always am. So I always kind of get those inboxes. And it's like, to be honest, it makes me feel good that people can come to me, so it doesn't bother me as much. And then again, on the other end, I don't really deal with a lot of BS. I don't even talk to a lot of people. So I guess maybe there is a balance there. I'm able to accept those venting sessions because I don't deal with it on the regular. So,
right. And they probably DM you because they don't know you in real life, and that's your best friend.
I knew some BS. You love me. I don't know why. You love me.
Love you, Jen. I do love you, Jen.
I love you too.
So how do y'all know when it's the right time to set boundaries? Because if somebody is coming to you and they're crying and they're going through something, how do you when is the right time to set the boundaries? How do you tell them no without being disrespectful or being mean or disregarding?
You just
The way
kind of tell them.
yeah.
You just call. What you say?
I think it's a way that you definitely have to say those things. Like, I just wouldn't come off rude. Like, no, I'm not dealing with your stuff right now. Like, don't come off like that, but more of I'm so sorry. Like, I too have my own things that I'm going through right now. So if it's okay for me to hit you back later, or just simply not communicate at all until you're ready. But I think communication is big. So you should definitely communicate. So that way the person on the receiving end doesn't feel like they're being pushed off or blown off or whatever, especially if it's somebody that you care about.
Yeah. But also because I feel like there are some people in life that are always, like, every time you talk to them, they are always going through something.
They need
Yesterday,
they need to get
your
themselves
roof
together.
caved in.
I don't have
the
time
day
for
before that, your dog died. You didn't got no dog. You got a cat. But the other day, your dog died. The day before that, you had a flat tire. Like, girl, what are you doing for you to be dealing with something so
those people
much?
I don't deal with.
Those people, I would say, I'm not doing it.
I can't do it. I
promise you, I'm not doing it.
You have certain friends for certain things, and that friend right there would not be your event friend at all. That cannot be your event off. Yeah.
I guess my thing is, and I'm working on it, I haven't gotten to that space to say no. Now, what I do is if I'm taking on that person, or where, I'm constantly letting that person intervene to me, afterwards, I'll go and pray and meditate, have my own talk with God, just relieve myself. Because I guess for me, it's just that fear that one time that they do need me and I say no,
it's going to be an issue.
Yeah. And not an issue. It's just like, I would hate for
de-escalated
something for something to pop off, or they just are at their lowest and I wasn't there when they reached out to me. I would hold that deep in my heart, and I know I have to
look. You can't do that
for myself too. Right, I know, but that's why at least I know that my decompression is after the talk. I go to God and I just say, okay, Lord, fix what's going on in their life. Help me to not just want to hold on and carry this type of deal. So not to say that's right, but that's just kind of where I am right now. Because we just put smiles on our faces every day. And I guess this is coming to a point where, unfortunately, I just lost a friend who committed suicide. And, it was a post that she made that just kind of gave you pause, but you just weren't really sure if it was like anything, because she was very, very vibrant. So you're like, oh girl, type of deal. And she was a sweetheart. I met her through my, one of my friends type of deal. And it's just like, had somebody in her life been there to talk to her about that, like, is that what she needed? And now all of her friends and acquaintances and whatnot are just kind of left like, what could we have done? I wasn't her best friend, but what if I just, hey girl, hope everything is well, when I saw that post, instead of, now I did pray. I was like, Lord, I hope she's okay type of deal, and said that, but dang, it just hits you when you just don't know what's really going on in people's lives.
Yeah, and that's really hard, because even if it wasn't a situation where she took her own life, maybe somebody else took her life, or she was in a car accident, or just in the wrong place at the wrong time type of situation. We always put that on ourselves. Like, what could we have done? What could we have said? What if we did, and we can't carry that. We definitely cannot carry that, because that's a lot in itself, especially with you already being an empath. You've already been a person to be that go-to person for so many people. You're already carrying a lot of people's stuff, and then so for something like that to happen, it would hurt me. But it's just like, I know that a lot of it sounds very cliche, but it was just their time, and it's just like, you can't carry that, because that's a lot to carry.
Yeah. Definitely sending prayers and condolences to her family. So.
Absolutely. I'm definitely sorry to hear that, because that's never something good to hear when people are, reach a point in their life where they just feel like they're not valuable enough to be on this earth.
Right.
And
it's just something
just
within themselves that, they unfortunately couldn't fix at the time, So again, it's sad to say, but it was just that moment. So
yeah.
So to go a little bit lighter, I have a question for y'all. I especially can't wait to hear what y'all have to say. What about boundaries for relationships? Talking about actual intimacy relationships, like,
I ain't been in a relationship in so long. I don't even know what. I don't know what.
But you don't have boundaries.
With you, Jen. We don't even know.
What boundaries? What man?
Lord.
What?
Well, coming in.
Well, this is.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Dave. So the first thing that I thought about with that question when we were discussing actually this topic, was like a boundary that I see mostly in women, where they set a boundary to not have sex with someone that they're dating for a certain period of time, or someone that decides to be practice celibacy. And a lot of times, when that boundary is set, I feel like the other person tries to tempt them a little bit into, or teasing them off that. And the first thing that comes to mind when I think of that is on Girlfriends, when Lynn had, I think his name was Bosco, and he was celibate. And like a lot of times she would try to tempt him to have sex with her. And I feel like that's not respecting the boundary, even though she accepts the fact that he's celibate. And at the end of the day, they don't have sex, so she can't really do anything about it. I feel like that's Parker. She and Parker. But at the end of the day, she didn't respect the boundary because she kept putting the temptation out there. You know what I mean? And it's really hard to, in that sense, because we are sexual beings. So it would be hard for me to be with somebody that's celibate.
I think it's important to set boundaries with yourself first before you set boundaries with other people. Because when I think of the episode of Girlfriends, it was a lot of things that he allowed that, like, if you weren't ready, if you all were, little horn dogs at the moment, you shouldn't have been having Netflix and chill at the house. Like, you shouldn't have been having Netflix and chill at the house because you knew your boundary may be you don't want to have sex. That's not what she has made over her life. So obviously she's not wrong for doing what she is doing. She should respect you. Yes, but you first have to show that you're respecting yourself and the goals that you have for yourself. So I think, like, if you really, and that's just for women too, like, I feel like I have, went through the celibacy, like, vibe. I just said, okay, I'm not going to do it. But then I go and I have Netflix and chill, knowing that one of my love languages is touch. It's like, it's personal touch. So me knowing that, and then setting that boundary for myself, and telling the other person, and not like, I'm not being true to myself first. So I think you need to be true to yourself first before you, try to share those boundaries or those goals with other people, because they're only going to play off what you're doing. So if you over there, you close on them, they're like, oh, maybe they was selling, they may want to change it for me. But, you never know what's going through someone's head. So I think that it's important for you to practice your boundaries with yourself before you try to expose it to the world.
Raven, that made me think about when we first start talking to a guy or dating a guy, and we have all these things on the list that we're not going to do, that we're not going to allow for them to do. And then we go and we tell them, like, I'm not putting up with this. I'm not putting up with this. I'm not putting up with this. And
they have to go after that.
They do everything that we said we wasn't putting up with.
And we be okay with all of it.
I can fix him.
Right. That's problem number one, thinking that you can change somebody or that you're an exception. And that is not the case. You are not an exception.
It's not your job.
Telling you. Yeah.
Two, if your mama couldn't did it with 18 years, what makes you think you're gonna accomplish that in a couple of months? It's not gonna happen, baby. It's not gonna happen.
I thought you had a 3. I was ready.
You were ready? That's all I got. I'm sorry. But yeah, I really think that's, the play. I think we need to be more confident in ourselves, because no one can disrespect your boundaries if you're confident within yourself. Like, he can't put his hand on your thigh because he already know you finna get him that look like, bro. Okay, so if that's the one you want to do,
I think,
but I feel like they have to explore some type of affection, because they're in a relationship until he gets to the point where he decides to no longer practice his celibacy and take that next step with his partner. So how can, because the whole point of celibacy is to I guess build willpower and things of that nature. So how can he do that by not putting himself in a position to test that willpower, even though it's not her practice? She's not practicing celibacy, but at the same time, she also was aware that he was practicing celibacy. So that is her decision to say, hey, I still want to continue this relationship with you, even though you're practicing celibacy and I'm not. And she was a very sexual being. And so for her to say, okay, I still want to explore this relationship with you, and to say at the same time,
y'all talking about Lynn?
Yes.
Oh, y'all know my key. My key is always. So I always come back.
So yeah, it was like, even though he was practicing it, she wasn't. She still made that decision to go forth in that relationship. She could have easily said, no, okay, well, I'm going to find somebody that's not. And so in order for him to kind of meet the needs or the expectations of that celibacy, as far as practicing, his willpower and abstinence and whatever the case may be, whatever his goal is in that celibacy, he has to be able to put himself in positions to really know whether or not he can turn that down. You know what I mean? And there's ways of showing affection that may arouse you or whatever the case may be, but there are other purposes of that affection, of the ways to show affection, than penetration. So I don't think it's okay to say, well, he's not respecting himself because he wanted to touch her thigh, that he's just showing affection to his partner.
But it's also different levels of intimacy as well. When people go celibate, you don't always have to think about getting to know that person on a sexual level, become intimate with them, become intimate with their mind. And that's also another route. But just like we may say, oh, I don't want to date a dude with kids, we can't be mad when we start dating him and we don't want to put up with his kids. So we need to be honest with ourselves from the jump. If she said, I love having sex, okay, but I'm gonna date you, she knew that was wrong. She should have just been honest with herself and said, I cannot do this.
Right.
Date people that you like and date people that like you back.
And y'all have the same goals. You can't tell a person who just went to rehab for crack can't go to a crack house and be like, well, I just want to test it out and see if I'm going to try crack again. No, it's not going to work out for you. So if you know you like sex, do not date a person who is practicing celibacy, or don't put yourself in those situations until you're fully comfortable. You've reached that level, like, okay, I really do like this person. Yes. It may even be love. Yes. Maybe we really can now move to the next steps where, okay, now we can go over the house. Maybe we can, because now we're on a level where we can hold each other more accountable, versus you being 1 month, 2 months in, you're already a little afraid to even address certain things with each other. So I think like it's time. And a lot of people like to rush things. You just can't do that with a person who hasn't even already made it up in their head that they don't want to do that. That's not your boundary.
Make that decision for you, not with somebody who wants to do it. No, try it first on your own, and then go, the intentions was wrong from the beginning, because she only did it because he was.
Thank you, Jakaya.
Well, I'll go for the relationship aspect of it. One of the things that I noticed we've done even before marriage, but just, once you cohabitate with the person, it's important to set boundaries for your decompress mode. And what I mean by that is if you and your significant other have time set aside where it's just for you, you want that other person to respect that. So for instance, if he's in his man cave playing his, games or Madden or whatever the case is, I respect that that's his time. And the same for me when I'm watching Judge Judy and I come in from work and gotta watch my 2 episodes. What? I like Judge Judy, Jen.
She pushes sometimes because it's a lot of things
you just gotta come correct. This isn't Mathis or the other one. You gotta come correct. We're not playing on Judge Judy, okay? But it's all about just having your you time so that your significant other can really respect that and you can decompress in that way. Yes. It makes it easier in the household once you do come together and it's like, okay, now we can get to, moving. So
I think that's very important. I think that's very important. And I think that whenever I do, I think it's so important to give that person their time, man. Like I swear, I promise you. And I need my time. And just like you said, just like when y'all come back together, you're refreshed. You done got your time together. So now y'all can really just vibe and chill until the next time it's time for you guys to have some more me time to yourself. I think that is that's my boundary. Get off me.
Period. Get off me. Number 2.
Please get off me for a little bit. I don't like clinginess. I think that we're adults. Like you don't have to be attached to me all the time.
It makes me itch.
I need a man.
It makes me itch when they be on you all the time. I hate it,
and I think that's really the only issue with me. Just as far as boundaries, like just get off me, please. Like that's literally it. Because in every other aspect of our relationship, we're going to get through it. We're going to go through the motions. Just give me time, and I swear I love to give people their time. I love for people to just be in their own mind by themselves sometimes.
They'd be like, good, you have all the time in it.
Right.
I feel that.
Sometimes an issue.
Do y'all feel like sometimes in friendships and relationships, like in order to really push your friend or in order to really be able to help them, you have to sometimes cross that boundary line? Do y'all feel like?
Yes,
because sometimes we make boundaries off insecurities. So
comfortableness.
I definitely agree with that. Mm-hmm.
I do. I thought she was going to elaborate a little bit more. But
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, I was saying that I just think that sometimes we make, that was really it. That's all I had to say. I just think that we do.
She just hit you with the one-liner. It was like,
right. Sorry, that's all I had. It was the only Twitter, it was a little Twitter code. But I think that Jakaya, I want to use an example. I do want to use an example. I made a boundary on my dress code with myself. Like, I didn't want to wear certain clothes. And it was really off of insecurity. I know that's like really small, but it was something that I did. And then Jakaya was like, no, you need to wear this. You need to wear that. And I'm just like, this is who I am, Jakaya. You're not going to change me. And now, now I feel more comfortable.
You tried it on and you was like,
I'm a baddie. Look at that. So I think it is good for friends to cross sometimes, sometimes if they see that it's a good reason, it's healthy for that person.
And I know sometimes I get into these spells to where like I completely shut down and I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to do anything.
I do. I used to do that.
But like half the time, what brings me out of it is a friend or a family member like Raven coming and saying, girl, you good? Like, let's talk about it. So.
Start what's in that cup.
Water.
Really?
I wish it was some bubbly.
Like you just made an announcement and then gonna pull out the red cup. We need to see it clear.
Right. I still had to play it like, later.
All right. So let's get into this word of math, y'all. What we talking about today, Star?
All right. I actually want to share something with y'all, if you don't mind, real quick. So this is a quote. My relationship with God has gotten so much stronger. He always had his hand on me. He always guided me. I didn't always go where he wanted me to go, but he always had me. And now that I'm actually listening and being obedient, life is so much better. That is from the late Earl Simmons, aka D, and that we lost. Yes.
Before we even let me go and get this out. What types of games are being played? How's it going down? Song to the song, and I got to know now.
Hey,
you with me, you would. Y'all, that's my favorite.
I know.
Song.
So yeah, I mean,
rest in peace.
we would be remiss if we did not take this time to shout out DMX that we lost, a legend in the game, one that cannot be replaced. He was a sound uncomparable, you know, just literally. And unfortunately, but fortunately, you know, he went on to be with the Lord. And I say that because he let us know very candidly that he found God and he found the Lord. So apparently God felt that he did what he needed to do. And I think we see that, as much as it hurts, but on social media, just the veteran fans and then people that weren't familiar with his catalog becoming familiar with his catalog is just a beautiful thing to see how much of an impact that he's made. So
yeah, DMX was like one of my favorite rappers. His music made me feel like I don't know, he just made such good music. I remember I think I was probably in like 5th grade. Like I would wait to see this video every morning. What's my name? And then the video, just the lights and the dogs. Like it was like he was just lit all the time. Do is say that, baby. Oh, I like he was lit all the time. You know, and although he had his battles, I feel like he lived his life. He made an impact on so many people, you know, especially like in the industry. Did y'all see that Woodstock performance where he performed in front of a whole country? That was like
that was that not the whole world? I was like, okay, it's the whole world.
It was so many people there, and they were lit and they were enjoying his music. Like for you to be that good of an artist, to, you know, impact that many people, like you had something special. That man had something so special in him that, you know, a lot of artists didn't have. He just had something different. His first album, like he was just a really good artist.
Yeah.
He was like one of the best artists that came out of this generation. In my opinion.
And I saw a post someone posted, and you know, there's always going to be the negative. Someone posted that if we cared about him so much, so we should have done more.
Y'all know they do that every time. They said that about Michael Jackson. They said that about they said it about every artist. That little post.
Was that Jakaya the game?
Right.
He did say it, didn't he?
It was somebody
regular. I replied to the post. I said, "What did you do?"
That's why don't nobody fool with you now. You a chatty patty.
What did you do to help this man? Because first of all, I'm in Dallas, being my little regular self. What I don't have DMX number. What was I gonna do?
Right.
But
he definitely got DMX got his flowers.
I'm like,
absolutely.
He never
got his flowers.
Get his flowers. So it was so crazy that some of those posts were going around. Like he's somebody you could mention right now. You see how we could just drop lyrics or, you know, memories or whatever. It's like, calm down. He definitely is a legend.
The
Nobody
game just
about him.
Because he ain't got nothing going on. Yeah, I said it. I hope you see it, game. Can you shut up? Stop making them tweets, baby. Just because nobody giving you your flowers, don't mean everybody else not. The game. Somebody let them know. Tag them.
You heard it here first, Jason.
I mean, Jen LaShawn on Twitter and Instagram. Go her way.
But I think it's really important for people that might not have been familiar with DMX's story to know that unfortunately, betrayal is something really serious. And he was, in essence, betrayed by his mentor at a very young age. I believe it was 14. And he was given a marijuana cigarette laced with crack. And that is how the addiction became.
Wow.
And we mentioned that not to harp on the negative, but that is that man's testimony and story. To see, now you understand more when you hear about the demons that he talks about in his lyrics, that's real. That's not just for album sales, and how he was triumphant and how he met the Lord and came to be with the Lord. And so his music was real. It was for the people, like, and he was for the people to this day, like random. You at McDonald's, like you at, you know, out on the street, just with, like you said, regular people, like that is a man of his, yeah.
So many people are on Twitter saying how they met him at just different, doing random stuff, like just so many people. And I'm like, am I the only one who didn't meet him? Like,
right.
I went to Rolling Loud in New York a few years ago, my friends, and he was supposed to perform that day. We were so excited about it. And he actually checked himself into rehab that same day. I was like, that would have been the best show I probably would have ever seen.
You know what? I saw a post from Wendy Williams, and somebody's knocking at the door. Sorry, y'all.
I was about to say, who is it?
So when he met Wendy Williams, he finally came on the show. He was supposed to come like years ago, but he never did. Come to find out, he gave Wendy a tape, and she just threw it out. He threw it out. She threw it out like right there in his face, and he said, "I'm not coming on your show." And he finally came on the show, and this happened, I think, like in October of 2020. And they kind of just hashed out their differences, and they were both just at different places. But what I didn't like what Wendy did, or maybe I didn't watch the whole interview. I don't think she ever just said, "You know what? I apologize." She didn't hold herself accountable. Wendy, you're wrong for that. Right. But thank you for at least having him on again. And then the verses, like I could go. I love it like that. Like that verses was like, I'm so glad that he was able to do that before he transitioned. That was a good verses because one.
And
his prayer so impactful. His prayers, his prayers were always deep and real, and like anybody, no matter what stage you were in life, could like really, you really could be impacted by his prayers. So it just was so real. It's just like you can't help but to cry or get, really into his prayers. He was just amazing. He was an angel.
Voice. Just those words in that voice, I just want to just get
right. It's like you could feel the pain. You could feel the pain. You could feel the hurt. You could feel everything in his voice. Of course, we have our other co-host Parker. She just joined.
It was real. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say a few years ago at the Bad Boy reunion tour, when they came to Dallas, they brought DMX out, and when I tell you, lose your mind. Yeah, girl, I saw him somewhere. I was trying to think if it was Drake or Bad Boy, and I'm pretty sure it was the Bad Boy tour where they brought him out.
I like Drake.
And people lost their minds, and I'm talking about young, older, Black, white, Hispanic, like everybody was vibing, and that's what it is all about. And that was just a beautiful thing. So I'm glad to have that memory. I know I didn't pull it out the sky, but
right.
Our hearts are with the DMX and his family, all of his fans, with everybody. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up after this. Please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also join us on April 29th at 7:30 p.m. for Thirsty Thursday with a taste of the culture. And also tune in because we're going to be on IG Live right after this. So make sure you join us.
I had a good time today, y'all. I enjoyed it.
It was good.
Guys, and I really did. Thank y'all for coming on, Raven and Jakaya. Everybody, I enjoyed it. I felt like I haven't seen y'all in a while. I missed y'all. So been going, we having to get myself together too.
Love y'all.
All right. Well, we'll see y'all in a minute on Instagram. Bye.
Bye, y'all. Come back. Come back.
I need a nap first.
Come back.
All right.
Come back.
Right now.